Hello everyone, welcome to the Education USA in Eurasia and Central Asia. My name is Oksana and I'm happy to see you on our monthly webinar. So our advising services are fully virtual and we provide individual and group advising sessions, undergraduate and graduate application guidance, essay review support, virtual workshops, webinars, and competitive students programs. If you are interested in any of these services, please join our social media and scan the QR code to see our upcoming events. And today I'm glad to invite you and introduce our wonderful speaker from the University of Northeastern University, Elva. She will talk about how you can really choose your right graduate program in the United States, because getting to United States graduate program is like not very easy step, sometimes in challenges, but there are also some advantages. Join us today if you want to learn what you need to know, what you need to do if you want to choose the right program. Thank you so much, Elva, for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Oksana, and thank you, Education USA, Eurasia and Central Asia office, to give me this opportunity to meet all of you virtually. First, I'd like to give you a little bit introduction of myself. I'm working for Northeastern University for all the graduate program. So I'm the director of East Asia and Central Asia office for all the enrollment management and marketing. So again, I'm happy to be here and to talk about how to choose the best fit a graduate program in the US and how the decision was made. What is really matters. During the whole application process. So let's get started. So before we hit to the topic today, I'd like to give you a little bit introduction of the Northeastern University where I am representing. So first, we'll talk about a little bit about our programs, college ed program under the university. So we have 13 campuses to be choose across North America and the one in London. I'm also giving you a little bit information about that. And there's a scholarship opportunities, which is, it could be, the knowledge about our university, but that also can kind of representing the overall information about the scholarship opportunity in the US, and also a little bit information about experiential learning and the co-op, this is really a unique things I'd like to share with you guys, and I hope you think about this because while we learn, while we go study, while we want to have a kind of master degree or PhD degree. So because towards the end, we need to go find a job, find a good job, and to have our, a better life. So let's get started. So Northeastern is Tier 1 Global Research University. Also, we are a private university. We founded in 1898. We're #1 co-op and internship ranked by the U.S. News and Report. And also, we're national ranking 46 by the U.S. News and Report in 2026. And we are the second to largest international student population in the US, by the Open Door Report. So we offer total 300 plus undergraduate programs and 250 graduate programs. We have offer the degree from the bachelor to the doctorate throughout our 10 colleges and schools across our 13 campuses worldwide. So we are a large in private university, research university, have a total about 46,000 US students body on the total enrollment number. Here we will see we have college, Bouvet College of Health Science. We have College of Arts, Media, and Design. We have College of Computer Science. We have College of Engineering. We have College of Professional Studies, College of Science, College of Social Science and Humanity. We have Business School, with Law School. We have another college called Mills College. It's offering a lot of teaching programs. And we have a global university systems, and you will see that the globe on the screen, and or the list of campus we have. Boston is our flagship campus, and it's a hub for the high-tech, biotech, academics, as well as homes to the most prestigious hospitals in the world. So several of our graduate engineering degree program and our NU Global Scholars program for the undergraduates are also offered at the campus across the globe, the networkings. So all of our program and the campus are located where the industry need more talents. So, okay, then we talk about a little bit about the scholarship opportunities for international students. In the US, most of the university, they have a scholarship into we call the needed base and meritus base. So I will talk a little bit about what is the meritus base, which award to the selected admitted applicants with outstanding academic achievements. The scholarship is offering, in a various condition. It depends on the scholarship availability and the program or the colleges. So also to be considered for the meritus-based scholarship. So you don't need to submit a separate application for the scholarship. It's just come with your admissions. So if you are eligible for the scholarship for this term, so you will automatically receive that. So you don't need to submit the separate application for the scholarship. But also there is scholarship based on, we call it needed base. Some university they offer the needed base scholarship. And in our university, we also offer the regional campus unique scholarship, which means you see in the last slides, we have several regional campus. So to encourage a student to experience the regional campus, for example, the Miami campus or Oakland campus or the Silicon Valley campus or Seattle campus, for example, then we will offer the dedicated scholarship for the students who select the regional campus. Okay. So we quickly jump into the cooperative education. What is a cooperative education? We can simply think it's unique and joint education projects between the university and our partner employers. Students apply what they learn in the classroom, working alongside professionals in the US or across the world in our partner companies. So it's a customized education pathway to complete in a global network place and chosen fields. And what is experiential learning? So again, it's integrate the classroom and the real world. And we engage students with the world through professional work, research, services, industry projects, and student clubs. We encourage students to transfer ideas into impact, allow students to apply academic principles in a professional environment. And it's really a way to prepare students for a successful career. In our university, we have over 110 years of a cooperative education history. In 1909, we started our first co-op program in Boston, and it's a second university to run the co-op in the U.S. So by the time we have 4 corporate partners. You will see it's a Boston and the Maine Railroad, Boston and Albany Railroad, Boston a consolidated gas company, and Boston Elevated Railway Company. You will see it's all about the hard engineering, right? So now we have, we from 4 expanded to 4,500 co-op employer partners. It's located in over 100 countries, and of course throughout 47 states in the U.S. And it is how the co-op works. It's what is co-op? It's our most immersive experiential program. Students work full-time, months-long professional working placement. And you will see it's fully paid. Student typically working 35 to 40 hours a week, and at least a minimum wages or above in the States. So 93 students get a job, after they graduate within 9 months. 45% of students offer a job from a previous co-op employers. And we have very high starting salaries over the national average. So the co-op education learning model is really a prepare, experience, and reflecting. So students using this chance to really digest what they learn or really place what they learn into real working environments. So that's a lot of benefit, of course. You advance your skill set and explore your interest and learn firsthand in your chosen field. Develop a valuable job research and interview skills, and connect and apply classroom theories to the real world. Grow personal and professional network by building your resume and the CV, and make a connection and create a professional network, paid a full-time position, and utilize CPT in the US. So this is typical co-op the timeline. So students who choose to do the co-op, they have 4 months chunk, 6 months chunk, and 8 months chunk. So usually, if the students go for a co-op, you will a full-time work and gap for a semester. Also, we have a great support for students' career success. We have a co-op coordinator. Each student will have their own assigned a co-op advisor. And we have career service experiential learning specialists to support students. We have people for CP to OPT advising, and we have student services and academic advisors. And we also have global student success for office for international students. And we provide tutors, workshops, and webinars. Then we have career design and employee engagement. We constantly run career fair, workshops, career advising appointments on the campus. This is just some little bit picture about student go for a co-op or experiential learning opportunities. Then here are some kind of information about our graduate program list, and we also run the weekly drop-in session to provide a one-on-one consultation for the students. And of course, if you want to contact us by email, here's the email address, eastasia@northeastern.edu. Okay, so let's go into our today's main topic, how to choose the best fit graduate programs. So, as professional people working in the U.S. higher education recruitment side, we often talk with the students, and we often be asked hi teacher, how to choose the best graduate program. I have this and that, but I don't know how to choose. And usually we tell them you need to really look at these 4 major aspects: academic goals, location preference, a financial and a current academic profile. So what is academic goal? This is really you set for yourself. And also you should look at these 3 major things program offerings. So look at this your target college or university. See how well the program aligns with your goal and what kind of program they offering and what kind of department and campus culture are, and also the community are. Then reputation. The reputation of the institute and the program is look at faculty, the quality of the faculty, the research interest, and their accessibility. Sometimes the university have very good strategic or prestigious research facilities, but it's not access friendly for the students. Then this this is you also need to like think about, like, because for the students, the accessibility to those resources are very important. And also for the research facilities, the quality of the research facilities and the research like happening in, what is happening in the department. Then look at your career outcomes, sales of the co-op and the career service, historical like job placement data. This is what for the student really need to like do some research and find out the data, and you to do the compare. Also like study model. What kind of study model you are looking for? What kind of like study model the university are offering on ground, like online, hybrid, and also the class size. Then we talk about like finance and the location. These two are usually or sometimes are linked to each other. Financially, we can say affordability, which means you will need to look at like the full cost of the program and the length of study, because 1 year program, 2 year program from some in the US, usually the tuition are same. Most of the university, the tuition is based on the credit hours, like we call it credits. So as long as you will complete or finish all the credits, and you can, graduate. But the length of study is related with the living cost. 1 year living cost, or 2 year living cost, all varies, right? It's a big difference. And also availability of the financial aid. Do they offer the financial aid or scholarship for the international students? Also, what type of scholarship they offering? For example, like I mentioned in the previous slides, it's a merit-based or the application basis, which means needed base. And what is the credentials of that scholarship applications? What kind of like, profile you need to prepare or you need to meet to fight for that scholarship. Also, like a TARA is also a good way, because the TARA availability for such a position, and also of average payment. Also, because in the US, some large universities like us, we have a lot of position. It's called a student worker. It's not TA or not RA. We so-called a student worker, because for the like large university, there are a lot of like position to offering, like we call library assistants. You can work in the bookstore. You can work for the admission office, like us. In our admission office, we have like several positions. It's offered to the student worker. They do some we call assistant job or some daily administrative job. So this kind of like job opportunities also is one way to consider to help you to less the financial burden. And also location. One says location are important because location are matter to the expense, matter to the future jobs, matter to we call it internship opportunities. We got to look at it. It's easy to access to the community or not, because it's matter to your family or friend, like connections. Career, is the university located in a big city or in the like West Coast farmer things, like, because usually if you look at the career, the employee numbers and the quality in the area, it's very important. It's help you to easy to apply the job, easy to find the we call it internship or co-op opportunity in the region. Also, like we said, financial concerns, it's the cost of living. Because, typically in the US, if the East Coast and our West Coast have the higher living or expense or living cost, then if you go the, Middle East or in the Middle South. So if you really concerns about the living cost, then I would say just avoid go to New York or go to any like big cities in the East or West Coast. Of course, the safety. Now, safety is a big kind of also questions or concerns by the student and parents. I would say most of like the university town or university are safe, and a big city like Boston are safe because for example, there are over 25 university in Boston City, which mean we have like a large population with high well educated, and also there are so many big companies or hospitals there, so people in good financial shape, so make the city are like more safe or more easier to access. So this is you can find some information on website. There this is called like a safecity.com in the US, something like that. You can have some information from the website. And the last important part, what is your current profile? Because look at all like 3 aspects. But most important to decide whether you'll be okay or whether you'll be admitted by your dream school, your current profile are very important. Then go through like 5 major aspects. It's like a GPA. What is a GPA? It's your current or your previous transcript from the bachelor programs, undergraduate studies level, okay? And you write a good essay. What is essay? Essay we call like a study purpose, which tell us your study plan and why you want to like study in the US, why you want to choose this university, and why you want to study this like majors. And of course, your standard test score usually is like 2 big part is language test or GRE or GMAT. And you have a good letter of like recommendations, of course, and you have research working experience. These are major 5 aspects to kind of like be your current academic profile. That's links to our next discussion. So how the holistic review admission at the like a graduate level, what really matters. We be always asked a question by the students during attend a fair or during attend an info session, says, this is my profile. Will this make me be admitted? So I have low GPA, but I have really good working experience or research experience. Will be, admitted because, I have good working experience. Or student says, oh, I have like a really good GPA, but my language score is lower. Will be rejected immediately. This kind of a question. Then we will always tell students in the US, we do holistic review. But holistic review does not mean everyone, all these aspects, are really flexible. Because, all these aspects are important to the applicant and all the admission office. But first, a completed like application and paid application fee will kick off the review process. GPA most of the time and in most of the cases is we call it step stones. Many of the graduate school will set a minimum GPA requirements. Also, it's not like a single point to make you be denied, but it's a very key to part of the admission decisions. And for GPA, it's a long-term efforts. So, I always advise the students to work hard in your each semester, in your each class, in your each quiz, midterm, final term. And for the personal statement and like a letter of recommendation, is also plays a great role in the applications. Personal statement is for you to tell us or tell like admission office who you are. And for the letter of recommendation is from a third party to tell us who you are. So in the next few slides, I will give you some little like really tips. But in here, you will see that's usually the process. The student will fill out the application online form, and pay the admission fee, we call it application fee, and upload the official transcript, diploma or degree if you are graduates. That's a part of the GPA. Then the personal statement and the ASAP, a letter of recommendation, and the resume, and of course the English language, we call proficiency test score. Nowadays, IELTS, TOEFL are the major two, but some university or some college, they also accept like Pearson, the Duolingo, and then for GRE and GMAT, some programs are required, some programs are optional, and also LACET if you are apply any law programs. So what is make you a good personal statement? We'll call it ASAP. Personal statement or ASAP, like we call it's the opportunity to present yourself to the admission committee, emphasize your interest, your motivations, and goals, as well as why you wish to pursue this specific program at this university. Be specific of your academic interest and future career objectives. So you will hear like 3 like small tips for how to write a good statement. We call it SOP. Use appropriate language and style. So an admission office, hate to read convoluted like sentences. You don't need to be right like a Shakespeare's. So just use the like writing, make this fluently clear. Avoid use very overly complex vocabulary or sentences like structure. Use the professional terminology to express your interest, but ensure the contents remains easy to understand. And also use concrete examples to support your statement with specific examples and experience. For instance, describe an achievement in a certain field, projects you have like participate, or problem you have solved. Just use the example to demonstrate and support your idea. And also avoid like a very generic statements, like steer clear of the like generic statements. Instead of write like personalized statement tailored to each schools and programs, because we know applicants usually applied several programs at several different universities. Most from time to time, or we see students, they use one statement of purpose to apply all programs. At this university, you apply the engineering program. At this university, you apply like we call a software like developer program. They are connected, but these are 2 different programs. But you use the same statement of purpose. It will not like help you to demonstrate your unique interest. And the university does not like to see this. We want to be treated like specially. So we want to see the letters only right for us, okay? And also, here are something like we further want to tell you. We need to highlight the diversities. If you have experience from different fields or background, highlight those diversity in your essay. This can increase your uniqueness in the eyes of admission committee. And you need to write in a clear structure. Your SOP should have very clear structure, including an introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusions. Ensure the logic is clear and the content is organized. Avoid being overly verbose, but do not be too brief for each. Maintain depth and precising to fully explain your motivation and capabilities. So in the end, revise and proofreading repeatedly. We always say proofreading. Don't make the grammar mistake, ruin your whole writing. So this is also to demonstrate to the admission committee you are well prepared, okay? And you are determined. Then letter of recommendations. Like I mentioned in the previous slides, it's the good way let the third party to tell us who you are. So a good letter of recommendation should possess the following characteristics. It's all authoritative like recommenders. Your recommenders should be authoritative and experienced individuals. Preferably your academic advisors, your supervisors, professors, or mentor from your academic or professional sites. They should be able to provide detailed information regarding your academic, professional, or work performance, and authentic, specific, and detailed. Letter should be authentic. Avoid exaggerated or phrase statement. We do catch the fake letters in the past because the admission committee, they read thousands of letters, and they know which one is the real one, which is the fake. Okay. Recommendations should be provided specific examples and detailed descriptions to support the recommended evaluation. This can include examples of your projects, your achievements, your skill, your leadership, independent thinking, and something more. So, this is why we always advise applicant to find the person who really knows you. Oftentimes, the applicant will ask, should I find a big name from the industry or academic field to write a letter for me? My answer to them always says, if the person really knows you, of course, this will be a big help. But if not, it's, better to have just your academic advisor because it may not have good impact as your advisor writes something to tell us really about you. And then also follow another 5 small items you probably need to be aware, to remind your recommender to be pay attention on. Personalized, letter should be tailored to specific programs or the school, highlighting why you are a good fit for that particular program or institution. Again, in the past, or in the many times, we have students using the same recommendation letters to apply different program, different university. So this is not personalized. This is not typically for the program, for this program. So if we can tell you may not that interested in our program. So please, be asked your recommenders write a personalized letter for you for the particular program. Okay. Also use the positive language to describe your strengths and the potential, emphasizing your adaptability, your perseverability, and the professionalism. Also timeline, manage the timeline. Letters should be submitted on time and must do not delay the application deadline. And in the structure and contact information, the letter must including the recommender's like signature and the contact information, so the admission committee can reach out them if they need like more details. And in the last, the format and the compliance, letter should be right according to the required like format and the guidelines. For example, if the school or program requires online submission, you need to follow the instruction accordingly. So, the standard test. So English language proficiency test score, like I mentioned, IELTS, TOEFL, or like GRE or GMAT, or LSAT. For many of the university, including us, we will set a minimum requirement for the language test. It's the key to the admission office, also key to your future success. Complete the whole program level study will based on you have a very strong language skill in both academic side and in your daily life side. And also for GRE and GMAT, many of universities now take it as an optional. But I always tell the students, if you have a good score, I will still encourage students to submit, because it helps you compete for the admission. Also helps from sometimes it helps you compete for the admission scholarships for the TARA. So I will say for standard test score is also a matter to the scholarship, matter to the TARA opportunities. Not mean is, you need to be a super high score, but it always have a minimum requirements you need to be reach, and the higher score will help you to compete with the scholarship opportunity or the TARA or the working opportunities. So I will strongly suggest all the applicants working hard in your language part, because like I mentioned, this is not just to help you to win the admission, it's a key steps or the key elements for the whole success for your study and your future success for your career. If you want to stay in the US, no matter you stay in the US or you come back, you have very strong language skill. Always, it helps you to win the extra opportunities. Okay, so my slides goes to the end. Again, this is my office contact information. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to us, you're welcome to write email to us. Thank you. My presentation ends here.
Thank you so much, Elva, for this wonderful presentation. And it's now time for your questions, dear students. If you have any questions, please write down them in the chat and we'll try to answer them, as we still have a couple of minutes for the final discussion. And while we're waiting for some questions, could you please maybe tell what are the main mistakes that students usually do when they apply to graduate programs, according to your opinion?
Okay. Yeah, so many times we see the students, they have lower GPA. The GPA side, because, GPA part, although we say we do a holistic review, but GPA are kind of still a very important part. And we see the students, they submitting the transcript. And we see some students, although they have the minimum GPA reach our we call it milestones or the minimum requirements, but on their transcript we see some lower score in their particularly fields they are going to apply. For example, for the student, if they apply the engineering program, but on their transcript we see some not good, lower GPA scores on the particularly related program. And also, we will see the student, they have like, failed the program and they restudy. That also will lower your chances. So we always suggest students, don't try to make up like a GPA in your year 2, year 3. Work hard into your each classes, your each quiz.
Great, thank you so much. So we have a couple of questions already in the chat, so I would like to share them with you. And the first one is about GRE. If it's written optional, can we skip it, or it would be better to have GRE to increase the chance of getting scholarship if I'm applying to math-related major? Or is it okay? Yeah, lower purpose.
Yeah, I will say for the GPA, I believe in the US, many graduate program, they are like put the GRE in optional. Okay, so like I said, if you have good GRE score, please go submit. It will help you to compete with a scholarship, compete with the working, we call TARA or like admission. But if you don't have good one, just do not submit it.
Yeah, this is actually great. Thank you so much. Yeah. So the next question is regarding the opportunities. Do you have like preference for PhD, master students? What would you recommend?
Okay. Yeah. It's varies by the college and department. It runs like different, based on their situation. But of course, PhD students have much higher chance for the TARE opportunity than the master students.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. If I'm applying to the research program, is it okay for one of the recommendation letters to be from a person who can tell? And we don't see the rest of the question. So please, could you please, continue your question and add like who can tell what? Yeah. So, but again, I think this is more about letters of recommendation.
Yeah. For the recommendation, again, like different program or different projects, they have different requirements. But as so far as now, 2 letters is usually the minimum requirements.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, and now I think like one more about research programs. If I'm applying to the research program and I need 3 letters of recommendation, is it okay for 1 letter of recommendation to be from a person who can tell only about my work experience, not academic?
Oh, sure, it's okay. Usually, if you request 3 letters, then you can do like 2 from academic side, 1 from your professional side.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so
no
much.
problem. Yeah.
We also have a couple of questions from the students who has registered before and they like submitted the questions in advance. The question is like this: what do you recommend to win scholarship for master's degree?
Okay, yeah. Like I mentioned, like in the US graduate program, usually there are 2 big, we call it category. One is called needed base. So you will see, they have very clear requirements. Each university or a program or college have different requirements, but they list of the requirements, and then you need to like fill out a separate application form, upload the material they like. For example, they will request, okay, the admission requirement, for example, GPA 3.0, but if you want to have the scholarship, you need to have like 3.5 or 3.6. And for on the language side, you will say, if we apply the scholarship, you need to have like a TOEFL something. And also they may have like GRE something. That's what we call like the needed basis. You have to check the university or the college you are going to apply. If they offer the needed base, then they will have the like a list of requirements. Different university sets are different. Another segment, like a category called merit base. You don't need to file a separate application. the scholarship comes with admission letter. But for this merit-based scholarship, the funny thing is we never kind of like release the criteria. Nobody knows the criteria because it changes each semester based on the enrollment size, based on we call the funding availability. But again, there's no very specific criteria to share because each semester are different. But of course, if you have good GPA, have good score, we call language score, always help.
Yeah, so I think this is a great recommendation because we can see that in general, everything matters. Yeah, like your letters, your recommendations, your grades, tests, and so on, like everything together really matters. And I think the higher results you have, the more chances you have like to get scholarship, to be admitted, yes, and like to have the best from the best. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. So a couple of more questions. Does my previous institute affect my chances of getting into a good graduate program? For example, if I went to a local unknown university in my region and like after that I applied to the university in USA, like will it influence or not?
No, there's no big influence which previous university or college you attend, as your personal profiles, the letter of recommendations, the essay, what are the essay you write matters.
Yeah, great. You also spoke about safety problems, and I want to know, is it safe in California and what challenges do they face?
You will see like some like on the social media from time to day, they have like news about like this or that. But what it make the as a matter or an incident has we call it like a news because it's real, not happen all the time, so it become a news, right? For example, we have two campus in the California, okay? One's in the we call it Oakland, and another one in Silicon Valley. It's, I would say, around the community near the campus are very safe. So it's do not really kind of worry about this kind of things. Often if you live in the campus or you live around the campus, those are always safe.
It's
and even even you go to the US and you can check with your we call it your advisor, check with your classmates who's from local. They will tell you where do not go to certain place in in the middle of night. Even the US person, you don't go there, right? I believe in your city, in the city where you live right now, you also know which area should not go in the middle of night. That's a common sense, right? So I or not kind of I tell you to worry about too much. But of course, sometimes the parents will do. So this is why I'm kind of including in the slides.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think it's it depends on the place, actually, the district. Yes, so it can you might have some safety problems at your own country as well. Yes, so why not?
Each country, each city has the same issue, right?
Yeah. So is it an advantage to have completed a US exchange program, for example, like international leadership program, when reviewed applications for a PhD by the admission committee?
Okay, this is a good question. Like if for the PhD, then we have more complicated review process and more complicated, or always say more comprehensive review aspects. But I would say if you have completed a US exchange program, definitely will help. At least it determined you have experience in study in the US. You know, how the the working experience will look like, how the academic atmosphere will look like. It will help you more quickly. We call it adapt to the US academic environment.
So yeah, you know already the system actually. Yeah. So a bit. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hope it will help our our students to find the correct answer. And one more question about English test proficiency. If my IELTS is low, and actually we have the numbers, it's like 5.5. Is it possible to improve while studying master program?
Sadly, I would say IELTS 0.5 will not have you to admit it in master programs in the US, in most of the graduate program. So you have to work hard, like to get to the, meet the admission requirement first. Then I would say, of course, after you start the master level study in the US, and by living in the US, because all your like classmates, your environments are English speaking environments. So your English will be improved very quickly. But first, I would say, you need to work hard, like improve the IELTS test score, because 5.5 will not help you to get into a good grad program.
Yeah. So again, like check requirements and study hard, and you will be successful. Yeah. I think the last question, and it's also connected with English proficiency test. So in what cases this test can be skipped? For example, depends on undergrad university.
Okay. Yes.
US
resident. If you hold a U.S. permanent residence card, we call it green card, you can skip the language test, or you complete or you received a bachelor degree from the U.S. university or college, and this also you can skip the language test score.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Elva, for this wonderful presentation, for covering so many important steps and parts about graduate programs in the United States. Maybe like last comments, suggestions to our students, what they should do to be successful applicants.
Yes, thank you. And if you want to reach out to me, then you can reach out to the Education USA Advising Center as well, and also email me directly. And thank you for the time. Thank you, Oksana. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, you can also reach out to our advisors. And looking forward to see you next week during our next webinars. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.